Hello. Hey, it's your host, Julie Middleton, also known as Juju. I have a new channel. I told you that in one of my previous videos that I was going to be doing videos on one of my favorite players in college basketball today. Um, and not only just one of my favorite players, but also one of my favorite teams. I am a product of Southern California, so I have a choice of schools to have, uh, chosen as my primary favorite team. And over the years, I've just been intrigued with the history of USC, University of Southern California, SoCal Women of Troy, Lady Trojans. And so, with my background, I played basketball in the early 80s, and I also ran track. I was a dual sport athlete. Um, I attended Cal State Northridge, where I was a four-letter and winner and all conference and all American in track and all conference in basketball. So I know a little bit about the sport and talent, because I came up in an era of the legend icon that we all know of, Cheryl Miller. We were in the same high school class, but I hailed out of Northern California in the Bay Area. So, with that being said, I had friends from both schools, from UCLA and USC. But over the years, USC has produced a lot of talent, a lot of wonderful talent that are, that we currently have in the Hall of Fame, Naismith Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, as well as some several awards in the NCAA college basketball are named after USC Trojans. But of course, we haven't seen a championship in probably over 30 or 40 years, right? 30 years or so, 40 years maybe. So it's been interesting because we've had an immense talents to come from USC and other talented players that have made the WNBA, but we just not have been able to keep our California talent. We're always getting poached for our five-star recruits and our McDonald All-Americans. They seem to get away from us and attend other major universities such as UConn and Tennessee and South Carolina, and maybe even LSU. And so Duke, um, Duke University, Oregon. There's been a lot of talent that has escaped right up out of the California region, and we could, that went on to win WNBA championships and to be very prominent figures in the WNBA. But alas, we have a generational talent by way of Juju Watkins. Juju Watkins came to us out of Sierra Canyon High School, the same school, same class as Bronny James. And she was the Gatorade National Player of the Year, #1 recruit, Miss California basketball, a host of other awards. She's won state championships. She's won 2 gold medals for underage group USA. She's played, she basically she had her choice of schools to go to, and she had narrowed them down to the Gamecocks and Stanford. Ultimately, Chris Gottlieb won the recruiting war and was able to uh, convince Juju to attend USC. But in reality, I don't really think she was convincing her. Juju is about community and family, and she's also understands the historicalness of the Lady Trojans, and she wants to bring back the glory years and era of when we were dominant in the NCAA. And whether you know this or not, in 1982, when I began college, this was the first year that we went from AIAW, which was a predominant, it was another league for just the women, to where and we crossed over into NCAA. And before the NCAA championship that took place in 1982 and 1883, there was the AIAW. And Kim Mulkey and the Lady Texters, Louisiana Tech, which is no longer here, and Sonia Hogg was the coach, was the predecessors to holding it down. They were similar to what the Gamecocks or UConn were in their dominance for winning championships. Alas, this generational talent came to bring her talents to team with Pam and Paula McGee twins of USC. And they also had Cynthia Cooper out of Watts, Locke High School. Now, she had her choice, Cheryl did. And I think at the time, playing for Billy Moore, which was our Olympic silver medalist coach, who's coached the likes of Ann Myers and Pat Head at the time, Pat Head Summit from Tennessee, coach legend, and others, and Lucia Harris. And basically, she chose USC because the twins convinced her to do so, or else she would have to face them for the next 2 years. And so why not? She teamed up with them. She took a chance under the coach, Linda Sharp, and boom, we won our first championship. And not only did we just win our first championship, we won our first championship and we won a second championship back to back. And then on the third year, we went to the finals again. And we lost to Jody Conrad's University of Texas. So, hey, this is the history that Juju is aware of and wants to bring back to Southern California. So, where are we at today? This is Juju's sophomore year. Last year, she won National Player of the Year. She was Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. She was also voted on the all defensive team, and most notably, she won the scoring championship and broke the freshman scoring record held by Tina Hutchinson of San Diego State in 1983, and she scored 920 points. Now, she had a lot of help around her. She had the IVs, or the nerds, we call them. She had 3 Ivy League grad transfers that never played together. They had never played together, and then and along with Ray Marshall, who was a junior at the time on the court, and they teamed up together. And out the gate, she was electric. She scored 32 points in her first game against Ohio State, and from there she never looked back. She had about 14 30-point games um, in 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 that season, in last year's season. But enough about her scoring. There are other parts of Juju's game that go unnoticed, in my opinion. I think her defensive abilities and prowess. She's a 6'2" shooting guard. I don't know of many more that are 6'2" in the NCAA that have the agility and athleticism and have the pro skill set that she has. Ju is definitely special. But what's even better is I feel like this year's team, with the acquisition of 5 uh, freshmen, um, 3 of which I think are McDonald Americans. Um, Actually, seven freshmen we got. Five post players, five guards and 2 post players. Apologize for that. And along with the returning players, but Juju and Ryan Marshall are the only returning starters from last year's game. But hey, don't worry, we got the number 1 transfer portal, Kiki Ariafin, coming from Stanford, hailing from Stanford. She's really originally from Studio City, California. She graduated from Stanford. She had uh, a fifth year COVID year. She wanted to play as a grad student, and she wanted to play alongside of Juju. She wants to go for a championship, and then she's expected to be either the number one or number two draft choice, depending on how the season goes with between she and Paige Beckers. I expect this duel, along with the added addition of Talia Van Hoffen from Oregon State, affectionately known as TiVo. So when I refer to Talia, I'm going to call her TiVo. Um, with their experience, along with this dynamic freshman Kennedy Smith, I mean, I'm not going to. I'm not lying. I think Kennedy Smith is quietly um, making a name for herself. She's already well known, but there's a lot of other freshmen out there right now that are making noise. I think this class of freshmen 2024 is very, very good. Very, very good. They may not have a superstar as the way they did with Hannah Hidalgo and Juju Watkinson, Malaysia Fawali, and Michaela Williams, but I think that they have a class that can make some noise. Okay, absolutely can make some noise. So I'm